Talk about the liberal media, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, for one thing, the media have if you want to say the media are liberal, I can't disagree. I mean, so do journalists tend to support women's choice? Yeah, probably. Do they believe in civil rights? Yeah, probably. But that has almost nothing to do with the content of the media. If you want to, I've never in my, I've written a lot about the media, but I've never talked about liberal conservative bias, because I don't think it means anything. You want to understand the media, first of all, take a look at their content. Okay, I gave one example before, the propaganda, fantastic propaganda, which managed to convince people of these incredible delusions about Iraq. It's not that the media came out and said Saddam Hussein was responsible for 9/11. But they permitted distribution of those charges uncritically in such a way that the population actually came to believe it. And there's case after case of this. Before this, earlier in the program, I mentioned that you can't find a map in the media of the Clinton-Barack offers of a settlement in Camp David, which was so highly praised. Well, I don't know if that's liberal bias or conservative bias, but it's not a journalistic integrity. If you want people to understand what this proposal was, show them a map. That's the way to decide what it was. And that was withheld. And there's case after case of this. I think there's enormous documentation of the fact, you can check it if you like, that the choice of topics, the shaping of information, the basic assumptions and so on fall within a fairly narrow spectrum, which tend to be highly supportive of state and corporate power. I don't think it's either liberal or conservative, it's just the way things work. Some of my favorite newspapers are called very conservative, like the news reporting in the Wall Street Journal is as good as any I know, maybe better. And it's supposed to be a conservative journal. But the question is, what is the media product? And then, if you want to understand it, you don't look at liberal and conservative, whatever they mean. You look at the institutional roots. What kind of institutions are the media? Well, it turns out they're major corporations, tied in with even bigger ones. Their income comes from other businesses, namely advertisers. They're basically selling a product, namely audiences, to other businesses. And I think if you look, you find that the interests and concerns of the sellers and the buyers have a very powerful influence on the media product. That has to be demonstrated, not just asserted. But that's my opinion, and as I say, I and others have written a lot about it, but I don't think it has anything to do with liberal and conservative bias.